Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a special feature on one of my favourite cars of all time. Isn't it lovely? Let me tell you a story. Back when I was around 13 years old, well, my parents took me to Target Ford in Crawley. It was 1991 and it was a school day. I think I was off school to have my braces tightened. Nice. Well, it was nice actually on this day because we were visiting Target Ford because my mum had to spec her brand new Mark V Escort Encore in Bahama blue with the all-important body-coloured rear spoiler, body-coloured door mirrors and those cool period wheel trims to hide the steel wheels. It was a 1.6 89 brake horsepower Escort. It had a rev counter, it had a 3-spoke steering wheel, and I was allowed to pick the registration J844FPN. Anyway, this video isn't about Mum's Escort Encore, albeit I thought it was a brilliant car. Nor is this video about Sharon, who sold us the car because, well, to a 13-year-old boy, Sharon was almost as impressive as the new Escort. Instead, this video is about a fascination that I had with another car that was in the showroom, in Target Ford showroom back in 91. It was a white Sierra hatchback with a spoiler. I think it might have been an LX. Anyway, I remember being allowed to sit in it and I was allowed to take a brochure home with me, which I promptly chopped up and turned into pictures for my bedroom wall. You see, on my bedroom walls, well, sure, there was a picture of Baywatch's Pamela Anderson, and there was a picture of a lady laid out across a Lamborghini Countach, and lots of pictures of Ford Sierras. So hopefully now you get it. I bought this car in 2015 and this is the real life manifestation of a 13-year-old's dream car. And well, if I'm honest, this car is still as striking to me today as it was back in 1991. So in this video, let me introduce you to and show you around my 1992 Ford Sierra XR4x4. In this video then, well, I'll share the full details of my Sierra XR4x4. I'll also tell you some of the history about this car, some of my history with this car. I'll tell you the things that I like about my Sierra. Well, no, the things I love about my Sierra. And I'll tell you some of the things that I don't like quite so much. And I'll rank this car. Where does it sit currently in that league table that we've been building over the last few videos of the cars in my collection? One thing's for certain, you can expect this car to be high. Now, if you want to learn a little bit more about the history of the Sierra itself, well, a couple of years ago, I made a video about just that, when I bought a Mark I Sierra GL. If you want to see that video, I'll pop a link to it in the description below. But this video is all about this car. Now, if you wanted a performance car with real street cred in the 1980s, well, thanks to the rally-winning Audi Quattro, well, you had to have four-wheel drive. And it was in 1985 that Ford first shared their all-wheel drive Sierra at the Geneva Motor Show. Now, the 4x4 Sierra has two viscous differentials, with 2/3 of the power being delivered to the rear wheels. In the UK, the Sierra 4x4 was sold as a hatchback, it was sold as an estate, and it was sold as a saloon or a Sapphire. But the sporty XR 4x4 has always been a hatchback, first in the Mark I jelly mould form and from 1987 as the Mark II Sierra. For the first few years, the XR 4x4 was fitted with a 2.8 litre Cologne V6 engine with the Bosch K-Jectronic mechanical fuel injection system. It's actually the same engine that's in my Capri. The new, more efficient 2.9 litre Cologne V6 engine followed in 1989 with the electronic fuel injection, and after the 1987 facelift, the 2 litre 4-cylinder double overhead cam engine became available in the XR 4x4. This car then, well, it's the 2 litre with 125 brake horsepower. It's also a late Sierra, it's a 91 facelift car. This one's painted in Ford's classic diamond white. It has the clear front indicators, it has front fog lamps, it has headlight washers, and around the back it's got those all-important, lovely smoked rear light lenses. a rear spoiler, and being a later Sierra, this has the narrow black rubbing strips along the side. As for the wheels, again, they're the later design, 15-inch XR4x4 alloys. There really is no mistaking this car with the earlier pre-91 XR4x4s. Following a brief ownership by Ford, this Sierra was sold in 1993 to Mr. Lees by Matlock Ford in Derbyshire. Now Mr. Lees, he was in the Royal Navy, so many of this car's early miles were clocked up driving between Derbyshire and HMS Raleigh, which is here in Cornwall. And the car was parked up there whenever Mr. Lees was on deployment. And that's an interesting part about this car's story. You see, I live really near to HMS Raleigh, so we'll have passed the gates many times back in the early 90s when this car was parked on base. Mr. Lee's father bought the car off him and subsequently passed it on to his other son in 1996, who owned it for 19 years, always garaged and rarely driven. And it was listed for sale in 2015 as it was not being used, and I purchased the car on the 26th of April with only 55,764 miles on the clock. This car really does drive like new. It's a credit to the Lees family who effectively owned it from new. And as for the low miles, well, I've owned the car now 9 years myself, and I'm now on 58,959 miles. And here inside the Sierra, well, again, it's like new. Being a post-91 facelift car, this Sierra has the curved dashboard. In fact, I'll put a picture on the screen now of my Sierra Cosworth and my Sierra XR4x4 dashboards so that you can see the difference between the pre and the post 1991 layouts. Look, this is an old picture. So the aftermarket gauges have gone from the Sierra Cosworth, and well, both cars now have been put back to standard stereos. Much better. The seats are trimmed in Zolder Raven fabric, and well, they are so comfortable. It's very easy to cover lots of miles in a Sierra, particularly this one. Now, there's only one problem with sitting inside a Sierra, and that's that you're not looking at the car itself. So let's step out where I'll tell you the things I love about this Sierra, the things I don't like so much, and let's rank it in that league table of my cars. It's actually quite hard for me to single out the things that I like about my Sierra XR4x4. I love this car after all. I suppose I love the way that it looks. I think that the hatchback is the Sierra, well, in its best form. So I love the shape of this car. I love the way that this car drives. I love the rear of this car in particular, those smoke rear lenses and that spoiler. But probably most of all, I like the fact that this car, well, it transports me back to that day in 1991 when I was sat in that showroom with that white Sierra. And this reminds me of the lovely times that we had in my dad's E and G registration Sierras. It's another reason that I like this car, and that is because that the registration on this car, EAR, also happens to be my son's initials. Over the 9 years of our ownership, well, we've taken this to lots of local and national shows. We've taken it on holidays. We've had sunny day trips in it. This car really has become a member of our family. And what don't I like about this car? Well, nothing at all, really. I suppose if I was being super critical, I'd say that it feels a little bit underpowered in today's traffic. But then there's no real surprise there. That 2-litre engine's working hard, driving all 4 of these wheels. But having said that, I love the way this car drives, as I've already said. And I like the fact that it's the rarer 2-litre XR4x4. Yeah, I love this car. Nothing else to report on this one. Now, before I rank this car in my current league table of cars, I want to tell you that, well, if you want to see this car in the steel, then I've actually been invited to put this car on the XR Owners Club stand at the Classic Car and Restoration Show at the NEC in Birmingham, running between the 22nd and the 24th of March. So if you're coming to the show and you want to see this car, please come over and see it. Come over and say hello. I'd love to talk about this car with you, about Sierras, about cars in general. So please do, if you're at the show, come over and say hello. Right, let's rank this car. Well, remember, this is a league table of my current view on my cars, which means it changes regularly. And it's based on the car itself, on my experience of the car and the memories that I've made. And there's no surprises then that my diamond white Ford Sierra XR4x4 ranks here, top of the shop. I know people say this type of thing all of the time, but well, I'll never sell this Sierra. I'd rather live in a box in the boot of the Sierra than I would sell this car. This car is my son's favourite, albeit he has recently been distracted by the Sierra Sapphire Cosworth, but I'm certain he'll come back to this one. One thing that I know is that I'm very excited to get that Sierra Sapphire Cosworth finished and park it next to this one. I can't wait to take these two cars to a show. So please do stay tuned, because I'm sure that will come at some point in 2024. Now, I'd love to know your thoughts, your feedback on this car. So please let me know in the comments about this Sierra, about your experience with Sierras. I love to talk Sierras with people, so please do put that in the comments below. I'll try to come back to as many of you as I can. And if you've enjoyed this video, if you like this car, then please click the like button and subscribe. To subscribe to see more on this car, subscribe to see me take this car to the NEC, and we'll subscribe to see more of my cars. It really, really helps my channel grow. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope to see you again on the next one, or at the NEC if you're going to be there. And well, I'll see you again. Bye for now. Bye-bye.